I've started from zero three times in my life. The first time, I chose it. The second time, it chose me. The third time, I understood what that zero meant. I grew up in India and I did my schooling with science, maths, and biology. Not that I needed to study science or I loved studying science, it was kind of a default decision of my family, and I didn't know better. And I loved and respected my family just like any other Indian middle class home. So I followed the advice that they gave me. And it took me a while to understand that I absolutely do not like what I was doing until I walked into a literature class. At 20, I accidentally walked into a literature class, and that moment changed my life forever. I did my master's in English literature, and within months of finishing my master's, I was in England. I took a plane and I was in England. I was the first in my generation, first in my family and friends to have taken such a decision. In all aspects, in all ways, it was an impossible decision to take. My parents mortgaged their house to fund my UK journey. I had no connections, I had no knowledge of that world. I had only 4 months of money in my pocket to survive, and I had no idea what to expect. The only thing that pushed me was my love for literature, and I wanted at that time I felt that England was the best place in the world to study literature. That's it. That one push took me there at 22. So everything I knew by the time I was 22, friends, families, way of living, everything, I left that behind to start a completely new, unprecedented, and unknown life in the UK. So I chose that zero. So I spent 6 years in the UK, and then came the next pivotal moment of my life, the second zero that chose me. I had to return back. I finally had found a good job. I was living on a wonderful North Wales beach town with my wife. We had an absolute picturesque life that reminded me of talented Mr. Ripley's life. And I had to come back at the peak of it all. And when I came back to India after 6 years in 2008, I had to start from zero back again. And this zero, I did not choose. Everything I knew about my country, my family, my people, the society, everything was different. I could not sink in any way, professionally, socially, emotionally, financially, and I became an alcoholic. Since the time I came back from UK, and I finally found some clarity. Those years were the years I walked through hell and trying to find my way, until I really found it. And this is what this video is about. I'm sharing this story to tell you that my years of going through this, coming from varied circumstances of life, the absolute roller coaster, and still arriving at the point where I gained utmost clarity, could only be possible because I consistently hit ground zero again and again until I got it, until I learned the lesson. And that is exactly how the process of book writing is. Whether it takes you 6 months or 1 year, it is inevitable that you will go through the phases where you feel like walking through hell and quitting. And writing a book's process is easier to quit. And this is the clarity I had when I started my first independent press in 2016. I was still trying to recover, getting into a better place. But this is something that probably pushed me in the right direction. This one aspect of clarity that I need to get people to write more books. I need to use my skill set and experience to help people in getting their stories out. That's all I had. 2016 I started this, and 2017 and 18 I quit alcohol, and my life slowly started to turn in a completely unprecedented path. And then came COVID, and that was the third zero that completely wiped clean the mirror. COVID actually did not destroy me, it destroyed everything that was not needed. It helped me lose the baggage. When I was going through that time, because I had always been going through that time since I returned back from England, and that was a pretty long decade of an unsettling time. But COVID acted like a cathartic time because there were long periods where I was completely isolated physically, emotionally, mentally, and of course, financial strains. Everything. So I went back to the minimal survival mode. Only that which helped me to function, only that which helped me to stay alive, only that which I needed to carry on to the next day survived. And at the end of it, I realized that this idea still survived. This clarity that I have to go out there and produce more books, that survived. That is the only thing that survived. So that is where I made a commitment to myself. I started thinking about Author's Forge. It's a 20 weeks program where I would like to work with people who align and identify with the kind of roller coaster journey life that I've had. Because trust me, my friend, this is exactly how the 5 months of writing your first book will present you. This is not a straight ECG line. So if you have survived what I have survived, then you will survive writing the book. It sounds like an exaggerated statement, but this is what it is. And I'll tell you why you need to write your book. Because there is no other way to share your story with the world. I'll see you inside. This is Harshit Bhardwaj, signing off.